I remember about a time we had to like just manage really like a lot of different things that were going on. So like manage really tight deadlines, competing deadlines, a lot of work, might not be able to get it done. Like have you ever had a situation like that and how did you kind of handle it?
Yeah, sure. So I think that I would go to my first semester at Stern. It was like half remote, half in person. I had a ton of classes. Just coming off of like a semester in high school, senior semester, second year semester, where everything was online. I had to manage a ton of deadlines. It was the first time in a year. In addition to being across the country, away from home, and having deadlines for internships coming up, as well as I was interested in law school at the time, like LSAT practice tests and stuff. So I mean, I think that one of the crucial things that I learned to do and that taught me to do really fast was be able to budget my time. So I think the first thing that's crucial to dealing with tough deadlines is to be able to segment the time. So you sit down, you organize how you're going to plan your tasks, how you're going to complete the tasks, and how you're going to do the best job that you can do, but still be smart about your time. The second thing, it kind of going off of being smart about your time, is when you're looking at your tasks, kind of think about what you actually need to do and what other people have already like done, and where you can use like help, like resources for help. So, for example, for an exam, it is very helpful to go through parts of the reading with different friends, and each person makes notes, and then you kind of meet in a study group and then discuss. And that way, you save everyone having to do all of the reading last minute again, or and still learn the material. So that's something I did. And then the third thing I think is to have the right mindset going into it. This is going to be tough. It might not end up perfect, but I'm going to give it my all, and try my utter best to perform at the highest level that I can. And stick by that. It's okay to sacrifice like sleep sometimes in order to perform, even if, especially if it's for a short time. So have a clear point of reference for what you want to do and a clear vision, and stick to that. Probably be my answer for that question.
Um, I think you should just follow our framework. So like
Okay.
you you've gone to the behavioral module, right?
Yeah. I know. I like you say, start with like this A, B, and C, and then you kind of go into each one.
Well, for tell me about a time for situational questions, it's the spark outline, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah, I have it. I have my thing completed. I take a look at that. Yeah.
situation, problem, action, results, key takeaways, right? You use it for strength questions, weaknesses questions, situational questions, all the tell me about a time that you XYZ. Just follow the spark outline. Like I feel like with this answer, like you're rambling a bit too much in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that, but
Yeah, for sure.
and then like you went straight from that to then like the three things you would do
Mhm.
when you're really busy. But like the way the question is asked is like, tell me about a specific time
Okay.
you had to do XYZ. And then you were talking about like hypothetically, if I'm really busy, then these are the things that I would do. Right. Like the one part of your three actions that you took that was sort of like a specific instance was like, when you have to study final exams and you split it up um and like everyone took notes on one section. But like the rest of it was just like not specific to that instance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it should be like if you go through the Spark outline, it should be like here's like um so the one time that I was like what was probably like the busiest I've ever been was um, at the beginning of freshman year of college, right? So that's like the situation, right? Problem was like, the reason I was so busy at the time was because here are all the things I had to do. Like just list them out, right? I was taking I was taking 20 units of school. I was also studying for law school or studying for the LSATs. I was adjusting to a new environment. Um, the the courses in college are obviously a lot harder than high school, and so I was still like getting used to it. I was also like I don't know recruiting for like 3 different clubs on campus, doing a part-time internship, like whatever, just like stack as much of it as you can, right? And why is this a problem? Well, and the problem that I was running into at the time was that I found that I was starting to drop the ball on things because there were so many things going on. And so, for example, um, I don't know, there was like this homework assignment that I ended up turning in late. And because I got turned in late, like I got a worse grade on it. That's like the problem, right? And I might even spend too much time on the problem, but like whatever. Like the most important part is the action. Just like for you, you said segment your time, um, kind of like conquer and divide, I would say was your second point. Uh, or divide and conquer. And then like the third point was like having the right mindset. But like instead, you need to talk about like, so in this instance, what did I do to get out of this jam? Right. First thing I did was like I sat down and I like segmented my time. Like I blocked off like my entire calendar every single week in like 15-minute increments. You know, like Elon Musk does this supposedly. He's probably like the busiest guy in the world, right? Like all his calendars like blocked off in 15-minute increments, right? So like I'm using every little bit of time that I have available for something, right? And also like I use that to keep track of. It's almost like my calendar is my to-do list, and like if there's something on my calendar that I can get done, then I know that like I still have to account for it somewhere, and I'll move it to later in the day or the next day or something. Like that could be like one thing you did, right? The other thing I did was I decided to maybe it's the divide and conquer thing. I thought that was a fine example, right? Because that could have been one of the things. And then like the third and final thing is just like, I mean, mindset thing is like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit
like wishy-washy.
yeah, like
Okay. Yeah,
it's kind of woo-woo, right? Which is like not saying like mindset's not important, but
no,
I
it
think
was off
for
my top.
the answer, like I don't know if it's like super satisfying. So whatever. Like what the third thing could be like, um, I also decided to like I don't know, like when it comes to like answering this question, sometimes I'll like try to use a framework and I'll say like maybe a variation of like with divide and conquer, but it's like I would put all the tasks on my to-do list into 4 categories. Like you can draw a quadrant, and like on the x-axis is like, how important is this to do, right? And then on the y-axis could be like, how urgent is this to do? So it's like if you're in the upper right quadrant, that means that it's important and it's urgent, right? Those are typically the things that I will tackle first, and I'll do them myself because it's important and it needs to get done right away, right? So that's like number one priority. If it's like the bottom left quadrant, if it's like it's not important, it's not urgent, then it's like, why is that even on your list anyway? Then you just like ignore those, right? Then for the other 2 quadrants, like if it's important but not urgent, then I'll probably still keep that for myself, but it can be lower on my to-do list after I finish the most urgent things that I'm already working on. And if it's like not important but it's urgent, then I might like try to outsource it or delegate it to other people, right? Maybe I'll like pay someone to do it for me on Fiverr. I don't know. Like, so like that could be, I'm not saying you have to use that, but like that could be an example of like part of your action section. And you're also like giving them a framework that you're using. So you're actually showing them like how you think and how you solve problems, which is the other benefit, right?
Yeah.
That's the action section. The action section should be like the largest section of your situational question because that's where you're demonstrating your behavior. That's why these are behavioral questions. They want to know how you would behave in these situations, right? Then the result, which I don't think you just skip the result and the key takeaway,
Yeah.
right? You need to have that, or else your answer feels incomplete. Like it's just like there's this cliffhanger and we don't know what happened. So like the result would be like, and by implementing these steps that I just talked about, I ended up graduating the semester with straight A's, even though I had took 20 units. I got into like the most selective club on campus that I really wanted to get into. And I got great performance reviews at work or whatever, right? Like this goes back to like the list of things that you listed in the beginning that you had to do all simultaneously, right? That's the result. That could just be like a quick and short thing. And then like the key takeaways is the part that like people always skip, right? Because most people, there's like star method, star method. Well, star method ends with the result. And then like, but the key takeaway is like really important. That's where you talk about like, so from this experience, what I learned was that, I don't know, whatever you learn, right? Whatever you learn about how to manage time. Right? What I learned is that as long as I stay organized and as long as I have a good framework for how to like prioritize my to-do list, I realize I can actually accomplish a lot more than I thought I could, right? And I know that, and then like ideally you tie it back to banking, right? Ideally you tie the key takeaway back to banking. So it's like, how is it relevant for banking and why should the interviewer care?
Yeah.
So I know that in banking, there's going to be many times when I'm going to have seemingly an impossible amount of things on my to-do list. And, I'm going to have to like learn how to manage that. And I think that having gone through this experience already, I can take a lot of what I learned here and apply it on the job. And it's going to help me be more.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
So
yeah, the framework
is like really easy to use.
Yeah.
And even if you just have to like make something up on the spot, because sometimes they ask you a situational question that you maybe didn't have a story prepared for, and it's kind of a curveball. And if you're having to make stuff up on the fly impromptu, then it's even more important to have an outline like this to like keep you organized. Otherwise, you're just gonna like. I feel like that was kind of what you were doing. You were kind of trying to like make up an answer on the spot, but it was just like.
Yeah, it was on the spot. I haven't reviewed my. You're right. You're completely right. It was on the spot. I mean, I have all my behaviorals written out. I just have to review it before the thing.
So that's the thing, right? It's like when you're just making stuff up on the spot, it can be pretty obvious to the interviewer. But if you just, even if you're doing that, if you just follow this outline, it makes it easier, right? Does that make sense?
Total sense.
Okay. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more customized advice that's tailored for your specific situation, then I invite you to book a free strategy session with our team at the link below. We'll talk to you soon.